Small changes, everyday habits. Ever thought about what you actually use every day? Not the big things, just the everyday stuff. Your tea, your cleaning products, the things around your home. Because that's where it starts to change. Hello and welcome to Regen on Purpose, where we explore regenerative leadership, delivery and systems that strengthen over time. I'm Karen Gray. Let's begin. Regeneration doesn't start big, not with a grand plan or changing everything overnight. It starts with a question. That's it. And that's really what this episode is about. If you listened to last week, I shared a small change I made with my skincare and hair products. And honestly, that's where this all started. What I didn't expect was how quickly that one change led to others. So this week, I want to show you what that actually looks like in everyday life. Kitchen, bathroom, daily habits. Nothing dramatic, just small changes that add up. So let's dive in. After that first change, I didn't suddenly change everything. It was gradual. I started looking at what I use every day and asking, is there a slightly better option? That's it. And that's where things started to shift. Not in a big way, just in how I made decisions. Over time, it becomes less about thinking and more about doing. Let's start with the kitchen, because that's where this shows up most. And then there's tea. I drink tea every day. I love tea. And when I looked into it, I found something I never thought about. A lot of tea bags contain plastic. I remember thinking, wait, what? You're pouring hot water onto the tea bag, and afterwards it's not breaking down properly. So that's one small thing. Suddenly didn't feel that small anymore. So I switched. Same tea, same routine, just a slightly better choice. And when you zoom out, 1 cup of tea a day becomes hundreds a year, and that's where it adds up. Then there were the dishwashing tablets, something I use quite often, but never really questioned, just buying the same ones because they work. And then I realized most of them are wrapped in plastic. Then I started noticing smaller things, like washing up liquid, something you use every day, but I didn't really think about this. So I paid a bit more attention, and over time, as things ran out, I replaced them. Same with sponges. Small thing, but you use them constantly. So I switched those two. Same job, less impact over time. And then I started seeing the same patterns in my bathroom. This is where it all started, so I don't want to go into it again. But once I made that change, everything else started to look different. So if you listened to last week, I shared what I switched to, green people, and honestly that was a bigger shift than I expected. I'd been using the same products for years, just out of habit. But once I looked at what was actually in them, I couldn't really unsee it. And what surprised me most, they actually worked. Because I think that's what holds most of us back, that assumption that the better option won't work as well. Sometimes it doesn't, a lot of the time it does. And then it extended into things like hand wash and cleaning products, things you just buy on autopilot. But once you notice it, you really can't ignore it. So I started switching things over gradually, not all at once, just as things ran out. What really helped was keeping it simple. Less plastic or plastic-free where I can. More natural ingredients, and sometimes that's easy to get, locally or online. That's it. And if I'm not sure, I just look it up. Quick check, nothing complicated, because it's not about being perfect, it's about making better choices more often. I haven't changed everything. There are still things I use that ain't the best option, like bin bags, for example. Still figuring that one out. But I'm aware of it now, and I'm looking. And that awareness, that noticing, that's where it starts. And this is where it shifts from small changes to something bigger. Because these ain't one-off decisions. They show up everywhere. Your kitchen, your bathroom, your routines. You notice it, you question it, you adjust. And the more you do that, the easier it becomes. So if you take one thing from this, just look at what you already use. Pick one thing, something you use every day, and ask, is there a slightly better option? That's it. That's where it all starts. Not with a big change, just a better choice. And if this landed with you, share it with one person, someone who's curious but doesn't know where to start, because that's how this grows, one conversation at a time. Regen on Purpose, building what lasts. Thank you for listening to Regen on Purpose. Sustainability is a starting point. Regeneration is the natural progression. Until next time, design for strength and start building what lasts.